Hi everyone. So today I will teach you how to think and write like a journalist. Now, why am I doing this? I am doing this because it is important for everyone to think and write like journalists. Now, you might be thinking, why do I need to think and to write like a journalist? Okay, it's because we must learn to deal with facts. And for the IGCSE First Language English, it's important for you to learn to think and write like a journalist because you cannot make a success at your IGCSE First Language English news report if you fail to think and write like a journalist. And it's important for me to talk about this. Journalists think and write like detectives because detectives investigate incidents, interrogate people, and investigate events in order to identify facts and myth. So it's important for journalists to equally think like detectives because what journalists do is to report fact. Journalists don't report opinions. Okay? Journalists focus on the fact of an incident, the fact of an event, and report such fact. And in the IGCSE, it's important for you to identify the necessity of reporting fact, the factual details of a passage, the factual details of a text. Okay, because the examiner is not interested in the opinions expressed in the text. As a writer of a news report, the examiner expects you to reflect fact only. Now, that is why you must combine the streak of a journalist as well as that of a detective. So pay attention to this. How do I think and write like a journalist? And invariably, how do I think like a detective and write like a journalist? There are actually 6 questions that every journalist seeks to answer. You must pay attention to those questions. The very first question is the what question. You must ensure that in every news report you craft, the first question you must address is what happened? What incident are you reporting on? What event are you reporting on? That answer must be clear because your readership, your readers are interested in knowing exactly what you're reporting on. They want to know the incident. They want to know the event. They want to know what happened. So the first question to answer is what? Now, what's the second question to answer? The second question to answer is the who question. Who are the participants? Who is the victim? Who was involved in the incident? Now, you must answer the who question as much as you answer the what question. The third question you must address is when. And when covers time. Every incident has its time frame. So you must make an effort to capture the time that the incident occurred. After you have answered what, who, and when, the fourth question is where. It's important to answer where an event occurred, because you must help your readers to understand and visualize the location of the incident. So it's so important for you to equally express and state where the incident occurred. What was the location of the incident? Did it happen in an urban environment, or it happened in a rural environment? So it's very important. It is of necessity to also address the location of the incident. Now, after you have clearly expressed what, which stands for the incident, who, which stands for maybe the victims, the participant, or those involved, and you have equally answered time, the timing of the incident, when it occurred. I did also say that the next question is to address the location, which is where. However, that isn't all the questions you must answer. And I mean, those aren't the questions that are to be answered only. You must also answer the why question. Now, it's important for you to make an effort to address the event which seemed to necessitate the incident. Now, why could address the motivation for it? What triggered the incident? Why do you think that person, I mean the character you're reporting on, why did the character win the scholarship? Okay, why was that celebrity of yours denied of the Grammy? Okay, now you must make an effort to address why. You must make an effort to address the motivations for the incident. What motivated the criminal to do what they did? It's important for you to address why, because the why question gives some degree of background information. Okay, by why, you would address how the entire thing came about, how that participant was motivated to do whatever they did. Okay, so you see, as much as you address what, who, when, where, you must also make an effort to address why. And the last question every journalist addresses is the how question. Now, it appears as though how is the most important question of the news report, because the first four questions seem to summarize the news report. And those questions are what, who, when, and where. Okay, now those four questions are answered in the first paragraph of every news report. And that is why I said that those first four questions, okay, seem to be the summary of the news report. However, every reader is interested in the how question, because that is the point of the news report that gives the reader complete details of the incident of the report. Okay, so the how question is the soul of the report. You must think about how to address the how question of your report. Now think about it. Maybe you're reporting on let's say a conference, and you have mentioned what, okay, it's a global conference. You also did mention who was involved. You've actually spelled out the participants. Now you also went ahead to include when the conference took place and where the conference took place. Now in the very first paragraph of your news report. Now, you also ensured that in the second paragraph of your news report, you address the why question. Why did the conference take place? Okay, why did it take place? And then you spelled out the reasons, the justifications for the conference. Now, the very last question to answer is how the conference held. How did it hold? Okay, readers are interested. They're actually more interested in how, because that is when they get the details. That is when they get full details of the report. And it implies that the how question addresses the body of the report. At that moment, readers can begin to make sense of your report. And sometimes, readers could excuse the participant, okay, knowing how the conference held, or they could hold the participant accountable. Okay, so the how of the news report help readers to form an opinion of facts laid before them. Now, are those the only 6 questions that are answered in a news report? Of course, definitely, those are the 6 questions that every effective news report answers.